All right, let me ask you a question that might make you a little bit uncomfortable. If your event was cut from the budget tomorrow, could you defend it? And I'm not talking emotionally defend it. Not with people loved it, not with photos or vibes, not with comments like guests love it and had a great time. Could you clearly explain why that event deserves to exist? Because if you work in events long enough, you start to notice something, especially around Q4, early Q1. I work with a lot of clients who host fundraisers, conferences, brand events, and trade shows, and every year without fail, the same conversation comes up. Well, maybe we should invest it here instead of in the events. That event didn't bring the result we wanted last year. Do we even need a trade show booth this year? And here's the thing. I am completely pro-event. I always want to throw an event. In-person experiences are one of the most powerful ways to connect with customers, build trust, and create brand awareness. But as a planner, you usually feel it first when your event is on the chopping block. And most of the time, you're not even in the room when these decisions are being made. Event professionals are rarely included in strategy, marketing, or budget setting. And this is really unfortunate because, truly being on the ground with the planning and logistics, you have a lot of insight to offer. But since you are brought in after the decisions are made, you're often left defending the event after the fact, and defending something that you didn't help define is almost impossible. So the real question is, how do you change the way your work is evaluated before decisions are made? So let me tell you about an event that changed how I approach this entirely. I was brought in to help plan a fundraiser. The goal was to help raise $100,000. But here's the catch. They hired me 7 weeks before the event. The venue was already booked, planning was well underway, and they were starting to panic because they realized they could easily spend more than they made. So the first thing I asked them wasn't about their decor, it wasn't their logistics, I didn't even know what the venue was. I just said, what is the purpose of this event? They didn't really know. They just knew they wanted to raise money. And so what I focused on was helping them define the purpose of the event. And so once we did that, we could build clear goals around the purpose. And then here's the key part. I told them up front, we cannot measure success by revenue alone. We only have 7 weeks. There's a real possibility that we won't hit that number. So I needed at least 2 other ways to be able to define success, or else why would even hire me? And so that conversation changed everything. And good news is we exceeded the goals. They raised way more money than expected. And I ended up making double what I initially thought I would on that event for my own revenue. But what mattered more than any of the money is what happened next. They were so impressed with the clarity and confidence around success that I brought back to the event, that they added another event into the budget for the following year. And that is how you move from planner to strategist. And so this is the reframe that I want you to sit with. Defending an event isn't just about justifying what happened. It's about defining what matters before it happens. When success is only measured by 1 or 2 event outcomes, like revenue and attendance, you're setting yourself up to lose control of the end narrative. And then when you actually define the purpose first, and then you set the goals and attach the KPIs, you change the entire conversation. The question isn't, did everything go perfectly? It's, did we achieve what we set out to do? That's a very different position to be put in. So how do you start by doing this? You don't need permission. You don't need a new title. You just need one meeting where you show up differently. And you start with the purpose. You then set clear goals tied to that purpose, and you attach KPIs that define success beyond perfection. Even if you've never done this before, you can start right now. And once you do, you'll notice something shifts. You're no longer reacting to budget conversations. You're contributing to them. So here's the choice that I'm putting in front of you. You can keep planning events that are evaluated emotionally and debated by every budget cycle, or you can decide that your work deserves clarity, strategy, and a clear definition of success. And if you're not sure where to start, I've created a free guide that walks you through this exact process. It outlines it outlines just a bunch of different purposes of events and ways that they can be successful beyond just one single metric. And so if this way of thinking resonates with you, sign up for my Tuesday Edge newsletter. I break down how you can show up as a strategic event professional every single week. Because when you can clearly defend your event, it stops being optional. It starts becoming an investment, and you want to keep your investments. So cheers to planning many more successful events.